Welcome to the Underground.
Turn me up, bitch!
My Little Underground with Peter A.
My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Make sure you're subscribed or listen wherever you get podcasts. And the archive is on peteraradio.com/My Little Underground. And newsletter, if you want to sign up every month or so, that's on peteraradio.com as well. Today, we're talking about 20 years of this little green box called Xbox. Why the hell are we talking about Xbox? Because Halo's 20 years. So we're going to talk about that as well. So it's only fair to talk about the launch of that green little console as well. I'm joined here today by my brothers, Smiley and Richard Arriaga. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Rich, you probably have to move a little closer because, yeah. Okay, that's good. So, I guess we should start with, so November 15th, 2001, Xbox launch. I remember the commercials on Toonami, little X cracked on the screen. So, what were your first impressions on Xbox?
I can tell it was already a more powerful console than the PlayStation 2 because, on the PS2, we had Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. It still looked beautiful on the PlayStation 2, but then when we played on the Xbox, it was a subtle... I can tell it was a more powerful console. You can actually see Crash's fur. So, I started looking up, other platformers on the Xbox, and I can tell all the differences. Back then, before I knew about the PC powerhouses and stuff, Xbox, to my knowledge, was the most powerful console. At least to me back then.
Okay, Rich?
I know it probably sounds silly to say, but one of my first observations of the Xbox was that it was big. It was a big looking console. We were used to playing the PlayStation, which is a smaller, sleeker thing. The controller was really, really big and it was heavy in your hand. And I remember one of the first games that I saw our cousins play was actually Monopoly. They had this really old version of Monopoly on the original Xbox. And I remember just looking at the screen and I'm like, why is there Monopoly on the TV?
I think that was on the N64.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yep. They had the N64 version of Monopoly. That was on Xbox, I don't think.
Oh,
but I remember them playing Monopoly on the N64. That's what I remember. Yeah.
I could also say the same thing about Crash, seeing them play Crash on the Xbox.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was weird because I wasn't really exposed to the fact that you could play one game on multiple consoles. If we were playing Sonic, it was usually on a Sega thing.
Yeah, this is wrong. Why am I seeing Crash on the Xbox? Yeah.
Exactly. And then all the years later, now it's completely normal to see someone playing one game Fortnite is on 4 different consoles,
Yeah.
One of my first observations was, why is this game on this thing and why is this console so big? But yeah. I mean, you said it right. It's a big green box.
Big green box. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this is the future. That's what I thought. I'm like, what is this thing from the future? Why? It's it was made 100 years later and it was sent back to the past of something that's what I thought. And the first game I saw, when we were watching our cousins play, it was Jet Set Radio Future, ironically, right? And it looked like this is a game of the future. This is not of this dimension at all. It looked like nothing that what we were playing on PS2. It looked nothing like Crash Bandicoot. It was when the graphics were just out of this world. So let us dive into the actual controller itself. When you first saw that thing, well, later on they kind of, shrunk it. You know what I mean? They kind of... I thought it was cool. I had no real problem with it, but I guess, people really didn't like it. Maybe now there's a nostalgia thing to it.
When did they shrink it?
Maybe a year or two after. Probably a year or two. No, the original Xbox. They had the big controller, and then they had the smaller one.
They did?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big thing.
I don't remember
with
a smaller Xbox.
No, no, the controller.
Oh, yeah.
The controller.
That's some really good grip.
That
was a controller as heavy as it was hard to drop because I found myself whenever I was playing the Xbox, I was usually sitting on the floor or a chair, that was close to the ground, and I remember holding it in my hand and I just remember it wasn't slipping around, you could reach all the buttons and stuff like that, and it was wired back then too. So you had to be close to the TV, like close to the console and stuff.
Like it was the controller was bigger than the the N64 controller, but less complicated. Like the N64 controller had like freaking 3 handles as opposed to the Xbox controller was just 2 thick handles.
Yeah, to me it was like a spirit. Well, the whole console itself was like a spiritual successor of the Dreamcast, because the Dreamcast controller was also very overwhelming. There was a little screen in the middle. It was wild. I've always wanted a Dreamcast, but well, whatever. We got PlayStation. But anyway, yeah, that Xbox controller was kind of clunky, because if you're not clunky, but like intimidating. If you're coming from PlayStation or whatever, it's a very simple controller, but the Xbox One was very, very complicated. But it was cool. It worked well, especially for the games that it had. And we'll talk about how Halo worked perfectly for it. But so we all know Xbox is famous for Halo. We all know that. But like, what do you guys think? Do you have any in mind of any original Xbox exclusives that are not Halo?
Kung Fu Chaos. That's the first one that comes to mind.
I forgot about that.
That's one of the oldest games played on the Xbox that has not been brought to like the newer generation.
Nope.
And as of recent, I'm kind of glad it is, and I will keep it there. I mean, it would be nice to have a remaster, but we've seen our remasters turn out these days. But Kung Fu Chaos was unlike anything I've ever seen. It was like a platform. We played that that and Fusion Frenzy were blew my mind, because it was like, well, I wasn't exposed to Mario Party at that time. So those were the first games of its kind that I saw before I saw Mario Party. Okay, this is where he got it from. But like, man, Kung Fu Chaos there's no other game with that kind of aesthetic right now.
Well, exactly. See, you brought up the Mario Party thing. Like, Fusion Frenzy was really cool, but like, Xbox was the party console, right? It was because they had 4 ports built into it. Like with PlayStation, I think PlayStation was like the only child. We had the only child console. It had 2 ports, and then if you wanted to play with more, you had to buy a separate multi-pack. Right. And PlayStation is famous for their single-player games. Xbox is famous for their...
PS2 made that much easier. You can just plug in 2 controllers.
No, the PS2 had 2 controllers. You had to buy a multi-tap.
For 4... Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, like that. Yeah, Fusion Frenzy was cool. Yeah. You have any, Smiley?
Dead or Alive. It's not an Xbox exclusive. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Originally,
yes. It was an Xbox exclusive.
No. Like the original one was they had it on Dreamcast, and then Dead or Alive 2 was on PlayStation.
Yep.
And then Dead or Alive 3 was an Xbox exclusive.
Okay, so the first Dead or Alive we ever saw was Dead or Alive 3 on the Xbox, and at the time I just thought, well, okay, Halo, Dead or Alive. Well, and at the time, I thought Mortal Kombat was at that Mortal Kombat 8 or something. No, not 8. It was some Mortal Kombat back then was like an Xbox exclusive. I had in my head as a kid that, okay, Xbox is the edgy console. Xbox is the one all the grown up games. And PS2 has all the cool platformer games. But then when we started learning more about console, that changed. But like at that time, I thought Xbox was like the edgy console.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, look at all the games they had. They had games like sleeper hits like Death Row, and Dead or Alive 3 was, not aimed at like for young adults and adults. Look at all the women, how they were. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, Dead or Alive 3, till this day, like it's still one of my favorite fighting games.
One of the best fighting games ever played.
Yeah, because again, like the Xbox, at least at that time, 2001, like the graphical power was like out of this world. Dead or Alive 3 still is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. It is gorgeous.
It's like an evolution of Virtual Fighter, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of like that. But playing all the PS2 fighting games, they had Virtual Fighter, Tekken. Tekken looked good, and Virtual Fighter didn't look as good as a Tekken. But Dead or Alive 3 was just like out of this. Wow, it just really. I'm still floored by how good the games look.
Not only was Xbox the first console I ever seen a first-person shooter, but also like first console I ever seen like, I don't know, maybe I'm lying. We've seen some bloody games on PlayStation 2, but I guess firsthand that was the first console we ever played a very violent video game, like an extreme, like one that was very gory, not gory.
Mortal Kombat.
No, that and like on Halo, because you shoot people, like blood literally painted the entire map you're on.
Oh right, yeah. Like you see, you walk through the game, and it's just like you see blood trails and everything like that, which I never seen at the time. And There was Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden was really
my
good.
God, yeah.
Impossible. Not impossible, but very, very challenging. Very, very challenging. You know, it's from the Dead or Alive universe, and the game, like, till this day, that game was, 2004, and it still looks good. It still looks great till this day. There was wrestling games on the Xbox, which weren't very popular, and frankly, I never played them. Like, there was Raw and Raw 2 and WrestleMania 21, but they didn't get the same kind of love that, like, Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, or Day of Reckoning got.
Wait, Here Comes the Pain wasn't on the Xbox?
No, it was PS2 only. PS2 exclusive. Yep. GameCube had Day of Reckoning and WrestleMania 19, and Xbox had the Raws and...
Here Comes the Pain would have looked great on the Xbox.
Probably, yeah. It
literally looked that good on the PS2.
Like,
imagine how it would look on the Xbox.
Yeah, like Raw 2 looks incredible. Raw 2 looks great because Xbox looks, really good graphics. The one game that kind of had an asterisk throughout the entire existence of the series that I never got to play it that much was Fable. Fable was Xbox exclusive. I never got to play it. It got really good reviews. Rich, you played it a lot, right?
Yeah, I played Fable a lot. I played 2 more than the first one and the third one.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that Fable was an exclusive for the Xbox.
Yep.
Fable was interesting because, like, on the surface, it seemed like such a cute-looking game, and then you kind of get deeper into the game. You can get the ability to blow people's heads off with rifles, cut people's heads off. It was very... It never ceased to surprise. Like,
It was a very cool RPG, and it had a lot of interesting elements. Like, I played the second one a lot, and it had that feature similar to San Andreas, but, like, if you eat too much, your character will gain weight.
Yeah.
And if you don't eat, your character will slim down. And if you use, like, spells like fire, your skin will actually get tan because you're like around fire a lot. And then and then if you don't use fire, like, your skin will pale. So like all those things were really, really cool, like, features added into the game.
Yeah, like Knights of the Old Republic, like, as far as, like, RPGs on the Xbox, those are the two.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Really big RPG games for, like, because PS2 had Final Fantasy, Dark Cloud, I think, and what was it? The hack games.
Yes.
They're like super rare now. They're like they cost a lot of money now.
Knights of the Old Republic, it is actually getting a remaster. If it weren't for Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect wouldn't exist. Like, that game inspired, like, Mass Effect was one of my favorite RPGs. So, man, like, Knights of the Old Republic, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, what year? It came out, like...
2003.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I was watching G4 a lot, and they talked about the game extensively.
Very underrated Star Wars game. Very underrated.
I'm trying to think, like, there was other Xbox exclusives that I thought were kind of interesting, because I remember seeing Blinks, right? I've never played Blinks. That was supposed to be, like, the mascot of Xbox. Like what PlayStation had Crash, but yeah, it never worked out. I never played Blinks ever.
I played the demo. That was the only. I remember playing the level, and I was just messing around with that tool where you can, like, rewind if you mess up.
That's right.
Like,
that was like the selling point of it. Yep.
It made me think of Ratchet and Clank. It was like the Xbox's version of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
But I guess it never, like, really, like, caught. I mean, I don't want to say it didn't catch on because it was a very popular game, but I haven't seen any, like...
Was Blinks popular? I don't know if Blinks was popular.
I don't know if it was like if it was a popular game, but I also don't remember seeing, like, sequels, throughout the years.
There was a sequel to it, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
They made a Blinks 2, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, on the original Xbox. It didn't continue on the 360 or nothing like that.
I mean, I never played Blinks, so I can't speak to it. Like, was it, like, more popular than a game like Beyond Good and Evil?
I don't know. Like, Beyond Good and Evil has, like, a cult following. Like, it wasn't, like, a huge popular, but, like, it has a fan base. Blinks, I don't think has that.
Wait,
like,
was Vex an Xbox exclusive?
No.
That was the first console.
It was on every console. It was on PlayStation, Xbox, I think GameCube too.
Okay.
Yeah. We just didn't know that.
Wait a minute, what guys were missing? Like, Gears of War.
Not original Xbox.
Oh yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yep. Okay. Xbox Live. A huge component to Xbox because PS2 was the most popular game console, like, period. Like, it had Grand Theft Auto at that time, and they had Ratchet and Clank and, well, Grand Theft Auto, you know what I'm saying? But Gran Turismo 2, Final Fantasy, Silent Hill, yeah. So Xbox Live, like, it really kind of brought a lot of people, especially like people who played like online games, like on PC or whatever, brought those people to. I was saying like I can't give you an exact number how many people they brought over, but like it really that's the reason to buy an Xbox, for the online component. You know what I mean? Because as far as like the exclusives, PlayStation and GameCube was kicking Xbox's ass. Halo, excluding Halo, we will talk about Halo, but like when Xbox Live started, man, it was off to the races. It was because yeah, but the games they had initially for it was the lame Xbox sports games like NFL Fever and MLB Inside Pitch, and what else initially? Oh, the Unreal Tournament, that was pretty big.
Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
I get that confused with Doom sometimes,
Well,
just
yeah,
because
yeah.
of the way that it's structured, but I believe Unreal Tournament was made on Unreal Engine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was before like I feel like everyone's using Unreal
Unreal
Engine.
Tournament is the reason Unreal Engine
It's
exists.
a big it was big on like the early esports days. Like it was that game, Quake, and then Halo eventually.
Yeah. It was those three. And like Doom didn't have a multiplayer component at the time, didn't it? Like
I don't think so. No.
I didn't play the earlier Dooms.
No.
The 2D Doom. Like,
But it's funny with Halo, right? Which we'll talk about. Like Xbox Live probably skyrocketed after Halo 2 came out, because when Xbox Live came out, Halo, the original Halo, people were still doing LAN, System Link. Another great thing about the Xbox, you can connect via Ethernet cable to another Xbox and have like up to 16 people locally without connecting to the internet. Yeah, it was the greatest.
Link before Xbox, the days of Xbox.
Connect.
Connect was Connect with a K was the motion thing. I mean, like the other Xbox Connect.
That was like some third party shit. Yeah.
But like, wait, did they charge like?
That was mostly for Halo.
No, like in the original days of the Xbox, did they charge
they
for online?
Yes.
That's the only problem. Before before PlayStation 3 decided to get on that bandwagon and charge for online, before Xbox was like, there was a time where Xbox was, from what I remember, like between those two consoles, was the only one that charged for online. That was the only problem I had with Xbox Live.
I don't know about PS2. PS2 online was not as big as Xbox Live.
It wasn't the most successful. We always had connection.
Yeah, you had to get like the original big Xbox. You had to get a little converter thing, a little component thing to plug into the console to then connect an Ethernet cable, and then you have to get a disc. You have to put it in the PlayStation to save the data.
And we did all of this just to play Ratchet and Clank 3 online.
Well, I never did it. Did you do it?
No, that was the reason why we tried to connect the System Link, is we had Ratchet and Clank 3. There was an online mode, and we were playing split screen a lot, but we were just like, well, let's try it online. And we spent hours trying to do the System Link.
They had some games online, but Xbox was the console to play. It was the multiplayer console.
Super accessible.
Yeah. But now let us talk about Halo. This is it was a launch title for Xbox. It's a reason to have an Xbox till this day. Give me your thoughts on the Halo series.
I would say as
it's a pretty general question, but
of course,
the Halo series is that's what got me into first person shooters. Because when I think I used to like watch with anxiety, like chewing at my fingernails. I used to watch like our uncle play that level where like you discover the flood for the first time, and I just remember like watching him be overwhelmed, and I'm like, what is this game? I've never seen anything like this before. And I'll never forget the first time like you pick up the controller and you're running around, you're shooting machine guns and just hawking grenades. I can't explain it, but I think there's a reason why we're still playing it today, and I think it's because it's just invited everyone who has loved the game to come and play it. With Xbox Live and all these things, people will be playing Halo for a long, long time.
Like we played hours on Xbox for Halo multiplayer before I even knew the game had a campaign. I remember when I first played the campaign, I was like, oh my! I just remember the Pillar of Autumn, like the first level. I just remember standing by this injured Marine who was bleeding, and I was just like it was the first time it was the first time I ever seen that much blood in a game before. I was like, is he dead? It was just like it just made me stop and like stare at everything. Like that's all I wanted to do was like I was the first FPS I ever played, and it was nothing like it. Like, you know, I guess probably how some people played, as some people felt playing the 3D Doom for the first time. Like, it's just like they just wanted to look around everywhere.
Yeah, like, you know, Halo. You know, like I like when it comes to shooters, I don't like a lot of shooters, to be honest. I like certain things about certain shooters that's not Halo. Like Call of Duty has a good multiplayer component to it. Battlefield has a great really good multiplayer component to it. Halo is an all-around great game. Forget about shooters. Story's great, multiplayer is amazing, and the amount of replayability is uncanny. Like, I'm not the type of person, at least now, that's like, okay, get a console for one game, but like this, if you're gonna get an Xbox, like you gotta have Halo, because it's like it's one of the only games that's, you know, exclusive to it that has a really deep story and a really replayable multiplayer. And I just remember having so much fun playing Halo on a local level before even getting an Xbox Live account. When we first started playing Halo, we didn't start playing online until years after. And I think the fun got greater, you know, playing online with more people and all that stuff, that you know, seeing things I've never seen in a game before, and, you know, getting into the esports component to it, which is interesting. Is a lot of, you know, it's a lot of fun. All the LAN parties we used to have, you know, those are a lot of fun. That game just provides endless fun, and I like the sci-fi element of it, going into space. I thought that was really cool. The enemies were unique, and of course, Master Chief is not the most charismatic protagonist in the world, but the other people are.
The Arbiter makes up.
Yeah, well, yeah, at least in Halo 2. But Halo 1 was just like, wow. Like, it's a good, like, just, you know, good jolt to the system, and it's just endless amounts of fun. And I don't think any multiplayer shooter has come close to the amount of fun the Halo multiplayer is. From a visual standpoint, I don't think any games come close to it.
I can only think of a few other than that. Like, other than, like, you know, like the Halo, to me, I've always, like, put it on the level of, like, Half-Life. Half-Life was one of the only other games, I think, with that much versatility, both in campaign and multiplayer. Like, and it turns like an all-over.
Well, Half-Life had Gary's mod.
Well, that's a whole. That's another thing, and that's another thing. That's another reason why I put Halo on the same level of Half-Life. The modding community has extended Halo to immortality. Like, even before, like, they remastered the games, like, seeing my first time seeing Halo Custom Edition, seeing the stuff people can do with that game. Like, you can drive the Pillar of Autumn on a multiplayer map. You can drive any vehicle. Like, modders have, like, done wonderful things in this game. And, like, I feel like we experienced so much greatness even from this game, even before we knew what people can do with it.
Well, Halo was interesting. You know, the creative aspect, you didn't have to, like, manipulate the game at all to, like,
no.
The Bungie at the time gave you a canvas. You can play the game however you want to play. It doesn't tell you, it gives you so much agency. There's not a lot of games, especially shooters. A lot of shooters now, they think, you know, just here's what you do, point A, point B. And that turns a lot of people off. Halo was like, you can do whatever you want. You know, the game, you have a custom game option for a reason. It's yours to do whatever you want with it. And then you can do a whole nother show on the machinima. Right. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yes.
People making series out of these games.
Movies.
Like,
all these
I don't even know how to even explain that. Like, it's just, it's this game. And when the original Halo came out, it was still, people still had all those LAN parties. And just from a local standpoint, having, you know, multiple consoles hooked up and the esports component is pretty much how, like, MLG got off the ground because of Halo. And when Halo 2 started, Xbox Live changed the game because now you don't need to have you don't need to LAN. You can still LAN, but, like, now you can play online, which, oh my god, yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing about it. They still gave you the option to do both.
Yep.
You know, here's the thing.
Choice.
Yes.
Choice.
Here's
you got options.
Here's one of the reasons, like, you know, it's like a sort of, not really a segue, but kind of, one of the reasons why, like, I know a lot of, like, Halo fans, including myself, had a problem with Halo 5 is that, like, you know,
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yes, here's the thing. They had a lot of good things in that game, but they took out split screen. And then, you know, people say, well, you didn't need split screen, like you just said. They didn't like you didn't really need to do System Link when Xbox Live came about, but they still gave you the option.
Yeah, and
They
even
still gave you that option.
even forget about, well, the multiplayer is a very important part of Halo to me, but like the campaign, as far as like just playing with people, like you plug in another controller, you're doing something, you can save where you are, get out. Well,
yeah, it's like drop in and drop out co-op.
Yeah, you can plug in another controller and somebody else can join in.
It's beautiful.
You know, and it's just it's really great, and it's just the plug and play aspect of Halo's. But speaking of the multiplayer, right? When I remember the day, it was like April 2010. They officially shut down the Halo 2 multiplayer servers, right? Because Halo 3 was on and popping.
Right.
I can't tell you, right? At the same time, people love playing this game online so much. They have a whole bunch of third-party outlets that allowed people to play the game online outside of Xbox Live. They had, which I use a lot, Xbox Connect and X-Link Kai. These are the two most buggiest apps you'll ever use in your life. But it's just the satisfaction of being able to play online. And the way it worked is it's like System Link. It's the power of System Link. It's basically like doing System Link over the internet. Like I'm able to connect to other people's consoles, not through a LAN connection, but through the internet, which is fucking insane. And it just showed you the amount of. There's no other game. There's no other game that has that kind of dedication. There is no other game that has that.
Very few other games.
Crazy.
I personally, like I said, I personally know of very few other games that have that kind of dedication. Very few. Halo is in a class of very few players when it comes to that. Like in terms of total versatility.
No, like
online, offline.
When they tell you, when Microsoft or whoever Bungie says, yeah, we're shutting down the servers. There's people's like, fuck that. We're still gonna fucking play this game. We're gonna find a way to play this game online with people. I don't care what you say. There's people right now playing the original Halo online right now. And Halo, the original Halo, never had an online component. It was only a local and LAN component. So it's just crazy. This game is just insane.
And the Halo community gave dedicated servers an entirely new meaning.
Yep.
You know, because you had dedicated servers for online games, you know, that and people were playing all the time. But like you said, when the official servers cut, people still wanted to play this game, and nothing was going to stop them because at the time there was no Master Chief Collection.
Nope.
There was nothing like that. So people literally had to hop through hoops. We would spend hours slaving over a slow computer just to play this game.
Yep.
Even if it was just one game, and then like the program crashed or whatever, you couldn't get it to work for like a week. You know, but it was worth it. You know, it was worth it because people were still playing those games, and I'm pretty sure Bungie and like later on 343 probably looked back and said, you know, we got to get all the stragglers together. We got to do something for them so that people don't have to jump through hoops of fire to play this game that we made.
Yeah.
You know, and because we have multiple copies of Halo 3 ODST. We have copies of the older games that, you know, you can still pop them in on the old consoles and play, but if you want to play with people, you have to get on the Xbox One and all this stuff now. You know?
Halo had a really strong, as far as like, the multiplayer it was a game changer, right? But the campaign, it's not just a thing you just run through. You know, like, you know, I never played the ODST story until last year, and I was blown away by it.
Really?
Yeah, until last year. Yeah, on COVID lockdown, that's when I played ODST for the first time.
Yeah, you also came around to Reach recently.
Yeah, Reach is great too. But ODST, I like ODST better than Reach as far as the story is concerned, because I had a whole lot of fun playing because it was totally different from the other ones. But Reach was really like powerful and emotional and still interesting. It was fun to play too. But ODST's multiplayer is just like on a league of its own as far as in that regard.
Well, like Firefight.
Oh yeah,
Change everything about Halo.
Firefight's really good. Yeah,
They were like, okay, you guys know Gears of War Horde mode? Let's put that in Halo, and the rest was history.
Yeah, no, like, you know what's really interesting about Halo? Like a bunch of other trends have come and gone, but Halo is still standing tall. Like Call of Duty, no disrespect to Call of Duty. Call of Duty is going to be what it is, and there's fun things and interesting things about Call of Duty, but it's not Halo. Like Medal of Honor 2, it had its time. It's just Halo. Like I don't really like first person shooters. I just like Halo. Really,
There are
really think about it.
16 Call of Duty games. 16, 17, whatever. 17 Call of Duty games. There are, what, 6, 7 Halo games? And only one of them I can say a lot of negative things about.
Yeah, like I still like, you know.
I can tell the difference between all those Halo games as well.
Yeah, we're talking about a 20-year-old game here. We're still talking about how much we like it.
Yeah.
It's still good. Halo 2 story is one of the best campaigns like I've ever played. Period.
Yeah.
And that, man, visually, the colors, like I think Halo 2 is like multiplayer map perfection. Like Lockout, even Foundation,
Oh yeah, those
you
maps
know,
are famous.
Midship. Oh man,
Yeah.
forget about it. And Blood Gulch, that classic. Oh my god, that is like,
It's a legendary map.
it's
at
just
this point.
beautiful. Like
It's-
from a design standpoint, it's gorgeous. You know what I mean?
I always thought that the map design was like borderline like artistic, and I would be playing like multiplayer games with my friends, and particularly like in Halo 3, like Halo 3 Standoff is one of my favorite maps because the lighting on that map is just great. And my friends would like they would look at me because you're on Xbox Live Party Chat, but they would talk to me like I was crazy talking about like how all these things look nice, you know, because maybe people aren't used to playing a game where, you know, you're running around, you're looking around, and maybe there's a vista you look at that the developer wanted you to stop and see.
Yeah.
Now every game is doing that.
And especially like in the Halo games, there are plenty of moments like in Halo 2 where like you're in a Warthog and you're just driving, you're on Delta Halo, and the map just opens up to you and you just see everything that's going on. You know, I feel like it's a masterpiece of game design.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when you talk about masterpiece, the score.
No, I was just about to say, yo, the music is
Martin
one of
O'Donnell.
Dude.
the music. Like, just I literally remember, like, I can literally hum every like note of the Halo 2 menu theme. Like, it sticks with you that much, and and I can say this about even Halo 5, even like one of my least favorite Halo games has beautiful music in it. Like Halo 2, like, man, like I can't. That score is better than most movies. I would put that side by side with the score of The Dark Knight.
Yeah, when you look at like even playing Infinite now, bringing us to 2021, 20 years later, the score of it, like while the game was installing, I'm listening to the music.
Oh my god.
My lord, a 20-year-old, and it's just like there's a lot more vocals in it. It's almost like
It's like deeper. I was just
Yeah.
telling Richard, like there was like deeper vocal parts and like
it's gorgeous.
you know,
it's fucking transcendent.
when everyone like, you know, lost their lid over the first showing of Halo Infinite because I don't
People
know,
shitted their pants.
because the trees didn't have enough foliage or whatever. But like, I was just mesmerized. Like I remember that first demo. Like, you know, people were mad about Craig or whatever. You know, now Craig is a
Meme?
no, not just a meme. He's, spoiler alert, one of the best Easter eggs I've ever seen in a Halo game. He is in they have a whole Easter egg for him in Halo Infinite, and it's awesome. It's like a shrine of him.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, it's incredible. But like I would like, people were mad about how like the game graphically looked or whatever. I was just mesmerized by how beautiful the music sounded.
I'm just glad they took a year.
They took it,
Yeah.
and
They
did it pay off.
Yeah, so I can't wait. I'm
Man,
already sold.
Campaign wise, you guys know.
You know, yeah, it's hit. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
No,
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, campaign-wise, I'm very excited for the game. Like, I've made it clear to both of you that I'm not a fan of microtransactions. So that's the only part of the multiplayer
Yeah.
that I'm annoyed about.
Well, you know what's funny? I was listening to Adam Sussler discuss that, and as of right now, the microtransactions are only limited to like aesthetic things.
That's how it starts.
Yeah. Well, that's how. Yeah.
That's how it
you're
starts.
right. We don't know. We don't know.
That's how it always starts.
We don't know. But hey, if you want to pay $39.99 for like a what the fuck? Remember when everyone was losing their shit over the katana? You had to get what'd you have to do again?
Oh, you mean that free thing that you can unlock in the game that everyone was mad about?
about like
The katana in Halo 3.
Yeah.
What'd you have
I
to do?
don't
Beat the whole thing legendary or something?
I think you had to do something like that.
Yeah.
The katana was hard to get. The flaming head was even harder to get.
What'd you have to do? The recon helmet? I forgot what you had to do with
Originally,
that.
they had the Vidmaster challenges, and when Halo 3 ODST came out, the only way to unlock the flaming head was if you beat all the Vidmaster challenges, you did all the firefight stuff, and once you beat the challenges, you got the flaming head. But when Bungie made their swan song and they passed the torch to 343, they did it as sort of like a fan thing where they just gave everybody the flaming head.
Yeah.
You know, and now if you look at Infinite, it's back. It's called the judgment head or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to unlock it.
The one thing I liked about Halo 5, you know, as far like with the especially Warzone Firefight, I think that was the best thing about Halo. One of the big reasons to get Halo 5, they had an in-game currency. So when you did shit like multiplayer, you get some points.
But you know where they got that from?
Where?
Reach.
Oh yeah, right.
And unlike Reach, every point you earn. Well, in Reach, every point you earn in the game. But in Halo 5, they did have like it was like a Mass Effect 3 style microtransaction system where you can earn in-game credits, but you can also buy credit packs.
That's it. Like that's okay. But like I think like especially with Call of Duty, right? With Modern Warfare, like they had microtransactions in there too. Like you can buy the whole battle pass and get a purple gun. But the purple gun, you know, just because it's cool and flashy, it's not better than the M4A1. You know, it's not. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. But like the only thing that you're doing is, you know, they're just trying to make money. So you can buy into that all you want, but it's not going to change. It shouldn't, but it's not going to change how the game is played. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. But it's just crazy because like you know they want to make money, right? But here's the thing: how much money has Halo alone made without microtransactions?
But think about this: like Xbox and Microsoft would be in the green if Xbox Live was still free. If Xbox Live was free, not still free, if it was free completely, because I always thought it was free. I thought you just plugged it in the internet and then
it should be.
It should be free. They would still be in the green because that's how much Halo meant to Xbox. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. It's just green. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that's the only problem I have with the Halo multiplayer. Everything else, gameplay-wise,
well, at least the recent Halos. Like, you know, Halos 1, 2, and 3, there is none of that. And Reach, too. Yeah, there's none of that.
Yeah. And, Halo 4 had a bunch of Call of Duty crap that they took out, but one of them wasn't microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like, they took, like, Halo 4, like, I don't know if people remember this. Well, they took, like I said, they took this stuff out, but, like, in Halo 4 used to have prestiging. You had to unlock the battle rifle, which is unlocking weapons in a Halo game. People were annoyed at Reach's loadout system. I wasn't, but then they took that to a whole. They in Halo 4 took that to a whole nother Call of Duty level. But like you know, they took all that stuff out, and like when the MCC came out, when the collection came out, they took a lot of that stuff out, and now Halo 4 is a lot more enjoyable.
The only problem with the last two Halos, well, Halo 5's maps I thought were good. The base maps. And then you know, they incorporated Forge into matchmaking, and they always change it.
Halo 5's Forge was amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing that people don't realize about Halo 5. They kept that game fresh for as long as they possibly could. For free. Free DLC. You don't have to pay shit. Yeah. And also, like, as far as, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the maps. For Halo 5's core maps are good, but Halo 4's maps weren't great. Like, they just weren't. Like, they had to rely on, like, older game maps to
and they made them look shinier.
Yeah, they just weren't good. You know, they had a newish midship, and it was just like, but whatever.
Halos 4 and 5, because they didn't have like such great maps, they started to rely more on the Forge. Like you would see a lot of community created maps getting thrown into matchmaking. You know, and some of them looked very, very good, like maps that were originally intended to be in the game.
Yep.
You know, but it's like, where are the iconic maps? Like everyone's like waiting for, like they did this whole special with like the old Halo CE Reach maps, and then they did the whole like Halo 2 anniversary revamp of some of the greatest maps, and they ported some of the PC maps and stuff like that too. I also hear that Halo Infinite will not have, at least for now, will not have any like remade maps.
Okay,
it's all going to be like some new stuff. Which
that's
is good.
fine. That's
fine.
Good. And as long as there's Forge. Yeah. You can always create whatever the fuck you want.
I'm sure people will. I'm sure people are already doing that now.
There's Forge in Halo Infinite, right?
No.
They're going to add it in. Yeah.
All right.
Like, co-op and Forge are actually delayed 6 months.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense.
Or
because
3 months.
The most important aspects of Halo right now are the multiplayer and the campaign.
Yep.
All the other things are like extra gifts, and that we're sure enough we're going to get them, but like launch is going to be the most controversial thing for this game, because I'm sure there are people that are expecting like a full full product, but we may not like see it. It may get like the Halo 5 treatment, where like Halo 5 launch and Halo 5 now, almost two different games.
Yeah,
you know, with all the extra stuff they added.
With 4 and 5 regarding their story,
suck.
5. Well, here's the thing. 5 was bullshit, but the thing is, 4 actually, I actually did it. Okay, the only thing I'll tell you one thing I didn't like about 4 story mode. The last boss battle was a button.
You press X.
The Didac, this cool villain with a really cool background, who great story. The terminals that you collect in Halo 4 actually really did a great job at fleshing out the Didac. I'm thinking, oh god, you're gonna have to fight this guy, and this is gonna be crazy. And it was a button.
Yeah, I'm lying. You know,
but like Halo 4's story was, I cut you off.
Halo 5 story was whack. Halo 4's story wasn't great, but I had a lot more fun playing that than Halo 5.
Yeah.
And Halo 4 on Legendary was a lot of fun. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, the ending was a disaster, but like, I kind of enjoyed fighting the Promethean guys. They were kind of really hard to, you know, it's really challenging. And it was a lot of fun, I thought.
And like Halo 4 was like,
and Cortana was losing her mind.
Yes,
so,
like you literally you saw her mental state deteriorate through every level.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like, you know, that, and I actually like the Halo 4 ending, like that scene you have with Lasky. Like Lasky, another thing I hate about Halo 5, you have great characters like Sarah Palmer and Thomas Lasky, who they were completely sidelined in Halo 5. But like Halo 4, like I said, the only thing I did not like about that story was the boss battle. But like, Richard, like, what do you think about Halo 4's story?
Well, Halo 4's story was a big deal because, you know, it was like the first Halo game on at the time, like the next gen consoles. At that time, the next gen consoles were like,
no, Halo 4 was on 360.
It was like
oh yeah, right.
Yeah, that was the last 360.
Yeah, and that was like one of the best looking games on the 360. It like pushed it to its limit.
You know, it's funny, like when Halo 3 came out, right? Halo 3 really looked great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you know, the Xbox. Well, you know what? Like, we got another Xbox because the other Xbox was fucked up.
Right.
But
They
they updated it. You know, the Xbox kind of had some updates, and they had the Elite Xbox on there. So like Halo 4 when that came out, it looked like amazing.
The lighting was
Really, for a 360 game.
Yep.
I always forget that it didn't release on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
But the story was a big deal because that was the first Halo game that we got after Halo 3, and it was almost like Halo fans were waiting, and they had like their checklists, and they were testing 343 to see like, can you do this? Yep. Can you hold up?
Well, yeah, after ODST and Reach, obviously, it was the first numbered Halo that we played after those games.
Right, and you know, for 343, they did a really good job with Halo 4, and the story mode sort of set the seeds for Infinite story. You know, Halo 5, I remember playing that campaign fairly quick, and I didn't really have that thing inside of me telling me that, oh, I really want to like play through this again and like find all this stuff and like really explore these maps. I enjoyed the story mode, but if I were to go back and play like another campaign like in the 343 trilogy, I would probably go back to Halo 4 first, just because like it was a more fun campaign and it was focused more on Master Chief.
Yes.
There are very few. I think there's like maybe, I don't know the exact number. It's probably like three or four. There's 3 or 4 levels in Halo 5 where you actually play as Master Chief and Blue Team. The rest of the story is about Locke.
That's pathetic.
You know, but at the same time, I feel like 343 was taking notes, and Halo Infinite is going to be hopefully a Master Chief focused game.
Yeah, hopefully you find Locke dead. No, I saw gameplay of the campaign. You find some dead Spartans.
Yeah, moral of the story: Xbox, really cool console. You know, it's not the PS2, but the one thing I will give Xbox credit for is, you know, their biggest kahuna, Halo. They always kept that alive.
Yeah. You
know, you can play Halo on any Xbox console. The thing, like with PS2, almost the same. You know, but the thing is, like, a lot of the great exclusive PS2 games are, you know, you can buy now for a decent price. Xbox 2, you can get an original Xbox for cheap, or, you know, a 1 or 360 whatever, and still play all the Halos. Literally on the Xbox One now, in Series X, you can get the Master Chief Collection, and Halo Infinite is out now for free. So there you go. The thing is, with GameCube, you want to play Double Dash. That's like a rare commodity. The GameCube console is cheap, but like all the big games on GameCube, Melee, Double Dash, the fucking Wind Waker and Luigi's Mansion, they're rare gem. They're like close to $100, $60, $70. So yeah, oh for real.
And kind of one thing to go. I guess we were like in Halo in terms of Halo Infinite's campaign. One of my favorite things of one thing I love that they're doing. You know, I remember once I said a while ago, like, you know, I wouldn't mind a lot. I wouldn't mind certain games copying Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Halo Infinite seems to be doing that. Like, it's like I jokingly call it Halo.
Look, if there's a bow and arrow, great.
No,
that'll be cool.
Well, I didn't even think. Wait a minute. Well,
yeah.
that was one cool thing about Halo 5. You remember that crossbow weapon that shot plasma grenades?
Well, there is that railgun thing.
Oh,
that bolt gun.
Oh,
that's not a bow and arrow, but it's like
no,
it's pretty much like
it looks like
if the Brutes designed a bow and arrow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super violent.
Like,
it's great.
And the vehicles are great in Halo. That's another thing. Yeah, you can do a whole nother show on Halo vehicles.
And the mobility is increased too. Like now, I've seen footage. I haven't attempted this myself, but I've seen footage of people using the grapple shot.
It looks great.
To turn over flipped vehicles and then immediately get on.
Yeah, I saw Donkey do it.
That's so cool.
You know, I've been like nerding out to you guys about this, but like this thought I had, like with Reach, the jetpack brought like weight and like fall damage to the game. It gave you a sense of weight. Like you had to control your jumps. With Infinite, the grapple shot changes the gameplay by adding momentum. Now, like, even when you're not using the grapple shot, if you just run, like, in Halo 5, running and sliding was a very fixed thing. You can only slide a certain amount of distance. In Halo Infinite, depending on how fast you're moving, what corner you're moving around, you can, like, jump and slide into, like, a different kind of jump and land, like, and slide. Like, it's very unpredictable, but also, you feel like, even in the air, your Spartan has so much momentum control. So with the grapple shot, you can, if you like grapple like a certain part, you can literally slingshot yourself around the whole map.
Yeah,
like
it's cool.
Like pros are gonna have fun with that.
Oh yeah.
Like MLG guys are gonna have fun with that.
Sure. All right, that's enough about Xbox. I'm Peter A. Thank you, Smiley, Rich, for coming on talking about one of our favorite games. And again, you can listen to My Little Underground wherever you get podcasts. Follow me on the socials at MLUPod. Archive. PeterARadio.com/MyLittleUnderground. I'm out. Probably play some Halo and all that good stuff. Later days.